3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We are the Real Pineapple. This is Hunter here, and I'm here with Colin. Colin, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. What's up, everybody?
Good to hear from you, sir. And I'm here with Scott. Scott, how you doing?
Hey.
Just,
Just get a little. I like the sass that we're bringing right now.
Yeah.
Well,
let's get silly.
So this has become like an ongoing joke, honestly, on the podcast. How, and I've talked about it with coworkers who just go, "You just hate DC because it's not Marvel, and because you just love Marvel, everything Marvel does." And I'm gonna tell you right now, this. So we're talking about Justice League. We're talking about the final trailer for Justice League. We're about a month away, actually. November, I believe,
17.
17. Pardon, thank you. That this comes out, so we're just over a month away from seeing if this will be the second good DC movie, or if DC will fuck up again like they've been doing since the end of the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This. Okay, how do I put this? I want this to be good. Like, I genuinely want this to be good because I'm sick of sitting through bad DC movies.
Yeah.
But
Who directed Wonder Woman though?
Oh my God, Patty Jenkins, who did Monster and directed Charlize Theron to a fucking Oscar, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is Zack Snyder again.
So this is Zack Snyder, but Joss Whedon finished it up. So,
Okay.
But dude, I'm gonna be honest, man. I as I just said, I want this to be good. I want this so badly to be good, and rightfully so. The marketing is really focused on Wonder Woman because it's like, hey, we can get this right, once. See, dude, I'm worried. I'm really worried about this movie. I think this is going to be not what DC fans are wanting, is what I will say. Colin, kind of your immediate thoughts after watching this.
I just think it's going to be more Zack Snyder, but I don't know. You never know. I mean, the trailer. It's got the cool action stuff going on. I mean, it might be legit. I don't know. I'm never gonna just because of a director, unless that director is Michael Bay. I'll never go into a movie just being like, this is gonna be a horrible movie, because I'm just not gonna be dumb anymore about Michael Bay. But Zack Snyder, I'm gonna go in and just be like, all right, he's due. Let's have him knock one out of the park.
That's the thing, if this is good, it's not like I'm going to say, oh, just because it's Zack Snyder, fuck this. No, if it's good, I want this to be good. If this is good, I will come back and say, oh, thank God this wasn't bad. But yeah. I think... Oh, go ahead.
I would just, talking about Zack Snyder, I just forget what your feelings of Batman v Superman was, Scott. I forget where you landed on that.
I didn't like it, but
yeah,
I don't think
any of us liked it.
I didn't hate it as much as at least Hunter. I don't remember what your opinion.
I remember I really liked Batman. I remember I remember Batman in the movie. It was Zack Snyder was fine with me when Batman was there. So it was maybe I just didn't really like Superman. So this isn't going to be very much. Superman's not going to be in this very much at all, as it appears. You never know when he's going to show up. Obviously, there's hints to that at the start of the trailer, but. Yeah,
and I even going back to Man of Steel, I didn't hate that one, barely.
Yeah,
but yeah, for sure. I think the Batman scenes were definitely the best part, and I'm hoping that that's what the case is here, because you've already got Gal Gadot just killing it right now as Wonder Woman.
Dude, seriously.
And I think if you just let her do her thing, and then I don't know. I know the world isn't real excited about this right now, but I'm really interested to see how Aquaman plays out because I haven't seen him in like a feature movie like this with a budget like this. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. Same with the Flash. It could go either way because kind of towards the end of this trailer, he says a few things and so like I don't. Not really hitting. I felt a little bit better about the previous trailers, I will say, but this one left you wanting. And I'll say it again: the music plays a key role, and the music was the wrong choice on this one.
Really, you thought so? Interesting.
Yeah, I just feel like it gave it the wrong vibe. Like it wasn't exciting enough. It was. I don't know. I was not super impressed. But yeah,
it was no Metallica in Punisher.
Right. Exactly. And there are definitely ways to go about it, and they spend a lot of time on these. Clearly, kind of a peek into the Zack Snyder thing. A lot of like darkness and a lot of red.
And slow mo already. I'm like, God damn it, dude!
Right.
Stop.
But let's remember that Wonder Woman had a decent amount of slow mo. So it's. I'm not gonna go to any quick judgments quite yet. Like Colin is saying, I'm in the same boat. I would never put any prejudgment on movies before I actually see it play out. But we're kind of getting a sense of this movie and what it's gonna be like.
Okay, so I actually posted, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, I posted. Because I actually had a dream about us reviewing this, which is why I wanted to get this review up. I figured that was destiny. I had a dream about why I honestly hate the DC movies, except for Wonder Woman. And the reason why is because they're not selling the characters in these trailers. They're selling the CG. They're selling the fights. And my friend was giving me shit today. He's like, oh, well, you don't give Marvel shit for having a bunch of CG, like in Doctor Strange or whatever. You know why that's the case? Because Marvel has been building their movies up, and every time there's a new film where they introduce a new character, it's focused on the character. It's not focused on the CG. And I'm sorry, they have to introduce the Flash. They have to introduce Aquaman. They have to introduce Cyborg. They have to reintroduce Superman because he's fucking showing up again. There's a rumor Green Lantern is in the movie too. So that's at least 3
and
characters.
Got Jesse Eisenberg in this too.
Yeah, so that's at least 3 new heroes just alone you have to establish with their origin stories in theory and get them established in this new universe. And you have to introduce Steppenwolf, who's the villain who's going to lead the dark side. So you have to introduce all that shit in a 2.5 hour long movie and establish really the mythos going forward for the DC cinematic universe. And I'm sorry, I don't think it's enough time. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do it correctly. I don't. And the reason why Wonder Woman was so successful that a lot of people don't just think about, it was a period piece, number one, and it really was there to set up Wonder Woman by herself. There was no like Batman Easter eggs or Superman Easter eggs. It was all about establishing one character. So maybe if they were smart about this shit and did a Batman like a Superman solo movie like they did, or in Wonder Woman and maybe a Flash movie, and then did Justice League, I'd go, oh, okay, cool. But they're just getting the Justice League because fuck it, we want to catch up to Marvel. And anyone who says they're not trying to do that, I'm sorry, you're fucking stupid. And I think this movie is really, I think it's in danger of not reaching its full potential because they're rushing this shit out. And look, I want this to be good. I will disagree with you, Scott. I think that how they're setting up Ezra Miller from Perks of Being a Wallflower, who I fucking love, as the Flash, they're kind of setting him up as, the Peter Parker, like the youngest person in the group, and kind of being the goofy one. His humor so far has been landing for me. Like in the last trailer, he said, what are you doing? Like Bruce Wayne breaks into his place and goes, oh, what are you doing sitting in my second favorite chair? And then kind of does the whole, oh, that's your signal. I mean, I don't know. It was
no, I've liked him in every other trailer. I will say that. Like this was the first one that had me questioning him.
Okay, so I mean, and honestly, there is a really cool shot, and this is me just kind of being a bit of a dork, but I thought the shot of Wonder Woman on Lady Justice, I thought was a pretty cool, just as a shot. I would have that as a poster. Honestly, I really like that shot. And again, they should be writing Gal Gadot, giggity, as much as they possibly can, because she's the one with the most rapport and the ones that fans love the most right now, as they should. So the fact they're pushing her front and center does give me a little hope. I like Jason Momoa just because he seems like he's just having fun with the role. And I think the one person out of the three of us who's actually read Aquaman quite a bit, it seems like they're going off the new 52 version of Aquaman, which makes me excited because that's probably the best version of Aquaman. So there's reason to be excited. I will, pardon me, I will also say this is the best that Cyborg has looked in any of the trailers, because I thought that first trailer, he looked like fucking dog shit. So seeing him here, it looks like the CG, they definitely have rendered the shit out of it, so it looks a lot better. So there's stuff that I go, okay, maybe this could be, this good. Like it could
and
be.
Then, and then you see Jesse Eisenberg is still playing Lex Luthor in the credits, and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, that's right.
Brings you back down.
Yeah, that was one of our, I feel like, our biggest gripes about the last Batman vs Superman is Lex Luthor.
Yeah. Isn't Batman so Ben Affleck is like, I like all the Batman, everything they do with it, but isn't like Ben Affleck just like too fucking moody too, like the whole time, like maybe a little bit, I don't know. I'd have to rewatch. He's
not really like suave.
He's just man, like
a grumpy old man.
Give me that, like, dude just, like, hitting on your chick, like Bruce Wayne.
He's a millionaire bachelor.
Like, coming at you, Playboy Bruce Wayne, like, not brooding, super mopey Bruce Wayne. Like, I hope we don't get that, which is, like, what I fear from the trailer a little bit. Because they're trying to make him, like, the real, like, just, like, kind of moody Bruce Wayne while dude playing Aquaman, or not Aquaman, dude playing Flash is like
Ezra Miller,
making jokes, being the comedy.
Here's my thing, and I'm gonna say it. I know people are gonna be pissed off, and that's fine. I really don't fucking care. Get your own podcast, but Batman.
Yeah, get your own fucking podcast,
and then listen to that. Just listen to yourself talking to a mic, you idiot.
Exactly.
Just make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, and then always unsubscribe and resubscribe over and over again because the count is up subscribes.
But honestly though, they and this is partially Christopher Nolan's fault. They've just taken Batman in such a moody direction where, in my opinion, I think it's the fucking right opinion, Batman the Animated Series, which has been the best version of Batman that's been done, where you have that suave Bruce Wayne, but you have that Batman who's kind of an asshole. And you're right. I think Ben Affleck, he was by far the best part of Batman v Superman. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want him to be just brooding all the time. Like, dude, if you had that much money, dude, fucking have fun being Batman and fucking a new Russian model every night. Like, yeah.
Well, even like Christian Bale, you get his version where he's like parading, these two models. Like in like diving into the like fountain in front of everyone, just being obnoxious, like super rich, or like coming out and telling everybody to just like fuck off and leave his party. But like he's obviously doing it because Joker's there to kill everybody. But like I thought he had his moments too. I don't know if I get that vibe even from Ben Affleck.
No, I agree, and that is worrisome to me. I will be the first to admit it is very worrisome.
He does appreciate when your mom has the same name as his mom, though. That's 100%. He's 100% on that.
Yeah, that's a safe word, but
this I feel like this can even be called back to the overall mood that you bring up a lot, Hunter, of these DC movies about how them being so dark and like broody, just like they're portraying Batman in this. I feel like that's been kind of a common theme throughout a lot of these. Even Wonder Woman is on the darker side. Like they can't all be rainbows and ponies, obviously, but I feel like throwing in like the comedy's definitely good, and I'll agree with you that like the Flash is. I mean, I would say I hope that the Flash is going to be a good comic relief because I think it's much needed, especially the way they're portraying Bruce Wayne as this old man. Like he's got gray hair, we get it. Like he's an old guy. Like okay, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I appreciated like the other 3 trailers got me more excited than this one by far.
And I think even to the point you're making, Scott, where this whole DC universe they've set up, it's like all of it's happening is like darkness, like everything's just like kind of dark and moody. And I thought Wonder Woman was kind of a breath of fresh air a little bit, at least at some points when like you had like humor coming from Chris Pine and like the jokes of her just being this giant Amazon woman back in like the 1940s. New York and stuff. I thought like at least like a lot of humor came out of that I don't know if I've gotten before quite the same with Zack Snyder, which worries me a little bit.
Oh man, Gal Gadot's so hot. Sorry, I don't know why I said that, but
yeah, I think that might have just been it. I was just like, this movie isn't so dark because like she's in it.
but honestly though, Wonder Woman had like a color palette. I remember I was so confused when I saw daylight. I was like, holy shit, there's daylight and there's not like it's not overcast or some shit. I was
it's
like,
about 24 hours of darkness in Gotham.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, DC movies can do that? Holy shit, that's amazing. Like, but honestly though, like I want seriously, like am I more of a Marvel fan than DC? Not when it comes to their animated stuff. I love DC's animated stuff, but when it comes to live action, I don't think it's even a fucking contest. But I want this to be good for my friends who love DC more than Marvel. Like, I really do. Like, in the way I want the Lakers to win a championship again, I want DC to actually have...
Or anybody that enjoys movies or want to see... Like, there's very few times when these caliber actors are going to be put together to create something like this. You know, especially in our day and age of computer-generated effects and things like that. Like... it just doesn't happen all the time. So it's like you've only got a few chances to get this. Sure, they might try to redo it at some point, but you really want them to get it right.
And
yeah,
go ahead, Hunter.
No, you're over, man.
Oh, I was just gonna say, going back to the point when you were talking about that you're not just like a total Marvel homer. When you're, I feel like you really respect the Marvel universe that's been created by Marvel Studios specifically. Like, that's why you get so annoyed when other companies cling to their characters, like Sony or Warner Brothers or Fox with the X-Men. Like,
yeah.
Because they're doing a worse job. Like, you're seeing the bar has been raised to this high by the MCU, and you just know like how good and how well developed all the characters are and how everything blends together in these epic movies now. Like, it's just not, it feels like it's kind of being rushed with DC. It's not being given the same kind of care, and you can tell DC's trying to catch up too. Like, they just know how far behind. They didn't see the vision that was seen, with Marvel when they started doing like Iron Man and working up from there. So I think it's unfair to say you're just Marvel homer.
No, thank you though, cause so they just announced yesterday that they're putting out the complete series of Batman the Animated Series, which is in my top 5 shows of all fucking time, on Blu-ray next year. I will be buying that, and I will take a week off of work and just power through and rewatch the whole fucking animated series and review that shit. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. It's right there with Twilight Zone for me. Like, I fucking love the animated. I'm playing Batman Telltale. I have episode 2 of season 2 that I am gonna be playing tonight. I love some of the characters that DC has, but what DC fans are honestly reminding me of are those people who defended the Star Wars prequels when they came out. I'm like, you're settling for table scraps. Like, demand better. Don't be like, oh, this is totally fine because it's a character I recognize in the costume that's similar to the goddamn comic book. Like, expect better from the company that you support. And I need this to be good. Because I'm telling you right now, if Justice League sucks, I'm going to go up to every single one of my DC friends who support this shit. I'm gonna say, suck my black balls. I'm gonna laugh in their faces because every single person I've been talking to, oh, this is gonna be better than the Avengers. This is gonna be better than Infinity War, which it won't, by the way. But Dude, I'm sick of fighting people on these. Like, can two of them just be good so I can just go, fine, fuck, are you happy? Like, cool, they put out 2 good DC movies. Congratulations.
And that's a great point you make too when you're talking about how, like, don't settle. Like, if it's not good, like, make your voice heard, and then we'll get better stuff. Like, I think, like, with Marvel, like, one of the big examples of that was when, like, Spider-Man 3 came out, and like the whole like world went crazy, like just was like, no, this isn't okay, and like the outpouring of like negative reviews of that, I think really fueled them to make like the MCU that we know now. That's like they listened, and then they got like the backing of Disney because they buy up whatever's being done like correctly.
And I think you nail it on the. I think you nail it on the head too. Like about like them feeling like they're rushed. Like they've been pushed so hard by Marvel at this point. Like you said, the bar's raised. So they're like, oh shit, we need to start churning these things out just so we're like tit for tat on these movies. And we're sitting here going, we don't know anything about any of these people. Like, what are you doing? Like, I would much rather like see Suicide Squad like now, and then up until this point, or even like a year or two from now, when so that they can go back and like develop characters like that, so I can find out who the fuck these people are and why they're there, and they're letting. It feels like to me that they're letting Marvel control the pace of this thing, and Marvel is way ahead of the game right now. So they're going to be chasing their tail.
And they've never made like an Aquaman movie. I've never seen Aquaman before. Like I'm walking into a movie where I don't know if I should be excited about this guy playing Aquaman. I've never seen him before. Like when you saw Avengers, you were like pumped. I mean, they introduced like Hawkeye. But for the most part, you're like, I know I'm getting the core for Avengers, and they've all had their own movies. I've all seen these guys. Like, you could argue Mark Ruffalo was thrown in, he was different, but, like, you've gotten the Hulk movies, 2 iterations of. So you were pumped to walk in that movie. I don't feel like I'm that pumped. Like you can't compare Justice League to the first Avengers, like, the excitement of going into it. I can't. I'm not going to be as excited.
No, it's true. And another argument one of my friends made, she said point blank, she went, oh man, like we're finally getting Thanos after like 15 movies. I'm like, you know what's amazing about doing 15 movies is that you can build up all the main characters, so then you just throw them against one giant big bad, and I don't have to worry about each character getting their fucking own like story thread. When you rush it, Justice League, then
and what's better that like building movies that all build towards something, or just fucking recycling the same movies, and like you're still gonna make 15 movies, like whether you're Marvel or DC in the span of say like 10 years. But like, why not just have all those 15 being like culminating into this grand finale of a movie? Instead, you're just like recycling. Like, oh, like Christopher Nolan's gone. We have a new Batman now. It's Ben Affleck. We're recycling. We had other ones of Superman. Like, you could have just like had everything building to this point, you know?
For sure. And I feel like when you have a cast or characters like this that maybe we're not familiar with, and then on top of that you throw it into a movie, like this looks huge, right? Like this movie looks massive. Like you have like basically people come from another planet, or like you have like massive warfare basically, and it seems like that's kind of what Zack Snyder does, is just these like massive like feeling movies, and I feel like that's gonna stretch it out more. I feel like that's gonna really take you away from those characters even further, because you've got all this stuff in between, and these like all these scenes you have to show that you're not going to be able to concentrate on anybody, or like maybe not add the emotion that you wanted to originally, or like not have it pieced together. I just feel like they're just jumping in, like, you know, feet first into this thing, and like I will say this as a caveat: I like the first 3. I think the first 2 the best of this series of these trailers. I liked them, but like we say a lot going into these DCs, you don't know. Like, you don't know. It's like you're not super pumped, and I would agree with you, Colin. Like trying to go into it as like a nowhere near the excitement of say like an Avengers movie.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. Like Thor, just to show that I can criticize Marvel, Thor: The Dark World I thought sucked. I am so much more excited for Thor Ragnarok than I am for Justice League.
Yeah.
But
the first Thor wasn't that bad. Like the first Thor was like
I like the first Thor. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I actually thought it was like I liked the first one. And I think that's another thing where I feel like DC's afraid to make an obscure movie where it's only carried by one superhero like a Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you did something with the Flash, I mean, the Flash has a TV show, so I mean, but they're not connected. Like it's not going to be the same unless you're like referencing things from that actual run that you know it's actually going into the next movie. Whereas like, oh, this is a direct sequel or at least like branching into of this movie from other movies where all the universe is connected. That just makes for a more interesting experience to me, I feel like. So like the fact that they made a Thor movie and then it was like applied to like Avengers where like all that stuff in Thor is relevant to what this movie is trying to tell you, like that just makes for a better experience. And I don't know if they would do that with the Aquaman, but I think they should have. Like, if they could have gotten a good director and made a good Aquaman movie, that would have made it more exciting going into this. You're like, oh man, Wonder Woman was good. Then they had Aquaman. Aquaman was dope. Like, and then now we're going into Justice League, and like everybody's coming together. Like, I'd be even more pumped. I think if they went that extra mile, even without Flash.
Well, what's crazy is that they actually have oh god, what is his director's fucking name? James Wan, I believe, who directed a couple of the Fast and Furious movies. He's directing Aquaman, which has a $160 million budget, by the way. And it comes out next year in December. I would rather have seen at least an Aquaman movie before we got the Justice League, because I think we need to. James Wan, because I would have liked to have seen some of these more obscure characters that, I mean, I know the origins of because I'm a fucking nerd, but that the general public doesn't know before we get to Justice League. I would have liked to have seen them build the Justice League instead of just saying, fuck it, here's Justice League, because, you know, Infinity War comes out next year. So, look, here's to hoping this is good. Like honestly, like honest hand to God, I hope this is good, because I'm really sick of sitting through bad DC movies. But I will say, point blank, I'm scared about this. I mean, I won't be scared enough to say my opinion, because if this sucks, I'll fucking say it sucks. And if it's good, I'll say it's fucking awesome. Like, I want this to be good. Like, I can't stress that enough. And I really feel, and I'm sorry to kind of going off on this, but I really had a bunch of DC fans, like my DC friends going like, oh, you fucking hate DC. It's like, I don't hate DC. Expect better from your fucking films. It's like when I talk to black people about Tyler fucking Perry. Like, stop. Anyways, but...
This is called a therapy podcast, is what you say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is just me venting, and you guys just happen to be here. But honestly, though, guys, like, expect better from DC.
Yeah. And expect Hunter to pay you for this therapy session for listening to him.
Exactly. Yeah,
you're welcome.
Fucking Lucy Charlotte Brown. Here's a nickel. But seriously, though, like this shit should be great. It really should. And if Zack Snyder, like, because all I was reading about, you know, unfortunately, until Zack Snyder lost his daughter, is that, you know, I've been going through the comics, I've been studying up, like, this is going to be such a good movie. I'm like, motherfucker, it better be. For as much shit as you've been talking, it better be a good fucking movie. And you bring in Joss Whedon, who did 2 successful Avengers movies that both made over $1 billion fucking dollars, so there's really no reason this shouldn't be at least a good movie. So...
Yeah. And movies shouldn't just be geared to the dude that, like, researches for months ahead of time and is, like, impressed. But, like, it should be easier for, like, the general public to be impressed by, like a superhero movie. It should be more accessible. It should have parts that reward the super fan, but it also should just be, like, more accessible to everyone. And I don't think DC's done that. I think if you are a super DC nerd, like, of course you're gonna appreciate it way more. Like, I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, I hope this is good. I really do. And, because I'm torn, because part of me wants it to be good, because then DC fans will be like, oh yeah, cool, we finally have a good movie. But then I feel like other people, the asshole DC fans, be like, see, Hunter, it's good, suck it. So, I'm kind of torn whether I want it to be good or bad. But, honestly, here's to hoping it's good. Like honestly, I want it to be good because then I can finally just tell people, hey, it's good. Go support DC. But I'm nervous about this, man. So this comes out November 17th, right?
Yeah, November
Yes, yeah,
17th.
17th.
A little over a
so
month.
So we'll have a review up for it this weekend, but or to this weekend, yeah, because we're gonna watch it this weekend. But we'll have a review up for it when it comes out. But goddamn, man, I'm torn on this. Like I agree with you, Scott. I think the other two trailers were better, but this does still keep me going. Like, okay, like maybe this could be the one. So, guys, let us know what you're thinking about the Justice League trailer because I'm curious what people are thinking about this because I've heard mixed things. But let us know what you thought in the comments below. You can follow us here on SoundCloud at The Real Pineapple. You can follow us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. Follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Colin on Twitter at
The Real O'Neill.
You can follow Scott on Twitter at
Newman the First.
And please go ahead and follow our go ahead and check out our sponsor for the month, Fangirl Cuddles at Etsy.com/Fangirl Cuddles and Facebook.com/Fangirl Cuddles to make awesome fucking custom blankets for like nerd stuff, games, sports. I'm actually wrapped up in my Spider-Man blankie right now as we speak. I'm so comfy, snuggled up like a little bunny. And if you go ahead and
Sounds pretty comfortable.
Right? And if you go ahead and use the code REALPINEAPPLE, all caps, you'll get $5 off your order. You are welcome. Guys, we'll have reviews up this weekend for The Foreigner. Jackie Chan is back in the movie. Holy shit, that's fucking amazing. We'll also have a review up for Marvel's Inhumans, the first couple episodes, which... and then and I will have a review up as well for episode 1 and 2 of Batman the Telltale series season 2, which I'm so excited for. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon.